Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Two Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. Two easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got author Beth Revis with me. So welcome, Beth.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
I'm so happy that you're here. I'm a big fan of your Star Wars books.
Well, thank you.
You know, you may notice I'm slightly nerdy. It's subtle, but you might.
It's, that's my kind of people, though. I mean, to me, that's normal.
You wrote a book about Han and Leia's wedding,
Yep.
which I think was on Endor, if I remember right. It's been a little
Yes.
while, but I believe that was right. Is that book considered canon?
Yes, it is.
Oh, very
And
nice.
getting it, yeah, it is canon and it does fit in with the timeline of everything else. And that was real tricky because there's been a lot of comics that fill in those spaces.
Oh my gosh. The comics are what make it difficult.
They are very, very rapidly coming out, and they have so much stuff that like cements where characters are
Yeah.
and figuring out the maze of where everyone is. It's a lot.
Well, and that's not even taking into account like the hundreds of expanded universe books and comics and everything that's out there that is no longer canon.
Hmm.
But a lot of us grew up on that. So
Me too.
we kind of still consider it kind of legitimate.
It is still a part of the story, just from a different point of view.
Yeah. I know I used to fuss about the Timothy Zahn books.
Hmm.
And then he started just kind of he just went with it. He just
Yep,
kind of
rolled them right
rewrote
in.
everything.
Yep.
He's in there, his characters and stuff are in there. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's the dream though, to see a character that you made go on screen.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
that's the dream.
Yes. Yes.
Especially something like Thrawn. Oh,
It's pretty good. It's
yeah. Oh,
pretty
yeah.
good. Have we seen any of yours yet? Any unique ones?
No. I am now officially on the map. So I feel like that's pretty cool. Like some of my planets have been reused, and
Oh,
there have been a few nods in other books, but nothing's made it to the screen yet.
okay. I'm gonna make some calls.
Fingers crossed.
We're gonna get that done.
For sure.
But you're right. That's the way you have to, it's baby steps. So you're known, your planets are being used that you used in the story. So that means you exist in the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll
I mean,
happen.
honestly, that is actually enough. Like just knowing that I got to play in that universe in any capacity is just brilliant.
Do you have a favorite Star Wars movie?
I mean, obviously. I do think Rogue One would be my favorite if I didn't have such emotional ties to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's got the sentiment value.
It does. And Rogue One's excellent. They
Oh
they
yeah,
did
I
such
love it.
a terrific job with it. When I was a kid growing up, Jedi was mine. That was
Hmm.
my favorite. But now that I'm an adult, it's Empire. Yeah.
I mean, Empire is truly, truly good, but I gotta have my murder bears. That
I
was the
know it
heart
had to
of
be
chocolate.
fun writing a story on Endor. That had to be fun.
Oh, it was so much fun. I loved writing it. The fact that, so this is not much of a spoiler, but the fact that I was able to have an Ewok drunken bachelor party is all I want in life.
It was the party that none of us knew we needed.
But we all desperately
We
needed
all needed
it.
it. So I've read that one, but I haven't read Rebel Rising.
Mhm.
What's Rebel Rising around about?
So you know in Rogue One when Jin, you start off with Jin as a little girl, and then she goes in the bunker, and then it flash forwards.
Oh yeah.
My book is the flash forward. It's everything that happened between the bunker doors closing and the movie taking
I
place.
love Star Wars because that's all it takes.
Hmm.
It's just one little thing, and then you can write a whole series of books on it if you want to.
Oh yeah. You get to fill in all the blanks. And I just love that people want to fill in the blanks because as a reader, that's what I want too.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I know it's pretty great. I know at times Disney, Marvel, they can oversaturate at times, but I grew up dying for Star Wars, superhero content, all of the nerdy stuff, and we didn't have a ton of it, and now we do. So I'm not
Yeah.
complaining. Some
And
of
then the
it's
stuff
not
that we did
great,
have, we
some of
kind of
it
had to
is.
keep hidden.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't as cool to be a nerd back then.
Oh no. No, I used to sit in the back of the school bus with my one friend who also read Star Wars books,
Yeah.
and we'd trade Young Jedi Academy back and forth. And
That's
it
all
was,
it takes though.
yeah,
You only need one friend.
exactly.
I had a book buddy. We book, comic book, and that's what we did. We like the little play dates. We'd get together and we'd just be sitting around reading all day, trading
That's
books back and forth.
all I want to do in life.
It wasn't terrible.
No, it's
Like,
fun.
looking back, I kind of as I've gotten older, I've had to switch to more of the audiobooks because I get tired so quick reading.
And then I feel guilty. I'm like, oh, I should be doing something. But the only way my house gets clean or the yard gets mowed is if I have an audiobook.
Yeah, agree. Agreed.
Mhm.
My wife does that, but she listens to it at like three times the speed.
I do too.
Oh my gosh, it hurts my head so bad. And she built up to it over time.
Yeah, you got to build up to it. You can't just jump in at 3x, but it's you. So typically I have 10 minutes to take my kid to school. I could either get 10 minutes and like half a chapter done, or I could get 30 minutes at 3x speed
That's
and
right.
get the book done in a week.
Well, that's her philosophy. The
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
best I've been able to do is like 1.25.
Oh, bless.
And it took me a while.
Oh my gosh. No, I mean, I'm at the point where I even do YouTube videos at whatever the highest speed. It doesn't go up to 3x, but I do the highest speed on YouTube even. I'm like, y'all, I got things to do.
Well, see, now I can challenge her. Be like,
Mhm.
Beth's doing it on YouTube.
It's everywhere. Normal television is so slow.
Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of funny because most of us don't just watch TV anyway. We're playing on our phones anyway. And then
Mhm.
if you're adding it in at a faster speed, I'd be lost. Because I
My
have trouble. I
brain just
get
goes at a
distracted
hummingbird
very easily.
space.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm impressed.
Oh, thanks.
I'm impressed with
It's
your
my one weird party trick.
yeah, your super speed. I got to interview Burt Ward. Um, it's been a few months back. But when he was a child, he was Robin in the old Batman series. But when he was a child, he was uh known as the world's fastest reader.
Oh,
So he
wow.
could he could read at that time something like it was something crazy, 20,000 words a minute or something. It was stupid fast. But he was maintaining about 90% of it.
Wow.
Yeah. I asked him, I was like, can you still do that? He's like, no, no. But when he was younger, he could do it. But I was just impressed with that because I'm
Oh, yeah.
very methodical in my reading. I don't think I'm slow, but I'm not like that.
If it's a text, I'm super slow, but
Yeah,
I need my audio to sound like the Micro Machines commercial guy. That's what I need.
pretty good.
Yeah. I figured you'd get that reference.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So, okay, Beth, tell me a little bit about what got you into writing because all of us want to write. Most of us can't. It's a difficult thing to accomplish. It's difficult to just build up the endurance, the routine, the consistency, all of that. But what made you want to go into that?
I mean, I always did want to do it, but I actually disagree. I think everyone could write. It's just a matter of how much you want to. Like there are certain situations
You're
where
right.
there are times if like you're struggling and like you're working two jobs, maybe like then, yeah, of course, take your
A little
time.
tougher.
Yeah. There's some grace allowed for
Well,
that.
and I should have said there's different levels of writing.
Yeah.
Some people are good, some people are not as good. But you're
It's all
right.
just practice.
Anybody, because most of us have at some point at least journaled.
Right.
We've done a little doodling, a little something
Hmm.
with that. So it is possible,
It
but
is.
difficult to make yourself sit down and do it.
It is really difficult, especially in the face of rejection, because it took me 10 years to get published. And I wrote 10 novels over the course of 10 years, and not a single one of them were ever published. That was the hard part. The
What
easy
made you
part was the
keep
writing.
going? Were you getting
I
any
don't
type of
know.
positive feedback, or was it just
I'm
nothing?
stubborn as hell.
Yeah.
That's just it. They just kept saying no. And I was like, well, then I'll prove you right with the next one. And I'd write the next one. And they'd say no. And I'm like, well, I'll prove you right with the next one. Like, I am fully motivated by spite.
I kind of love that.
It's
Well,
not
and I
always
know you've
healthy.
self-published some, but you've also been published
Mhm.
quite a bit. What was the decision making with the self-publishing? Was that more, I've got something I want to write and nobody wants to do it, so I'm just going to do it?
I mean, mostly it was just me being pig-headed because my publisher, like for the first book that I self-published, my publisher had worked with me on it, and then they just decided the market was cooling for sci-fi. They wanted fantasy instead. I was like, but I have this finished sci-fi book. Well, fine,
Right.
I'll just set it out myself. And that's how I got started on it. And now I'm fully committed to doing at least one book published by self-publishing and one book by traditional publishing every year.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah. I'm also broke.
Could you? I was going to say, could you give George Martin a call?
I mean, see, here's the thing. Published authors with traditional publishing, we don't get paid until we make the book and it's out there and we have like a payment schedule that is dictated by when we sign the contract, when the book comes out, things like that. And if I was George R. R. Martin, I can't leave money on that table. That book's gonna get written.
Yeah.
Them
I mean,
dragons are
I
gonna come
was
and meet everybody.
I started reading Game of Thrones back in the 90s, when it
Mhm.
first came out. And I've been very supportive of George. I was like, George, I'm okay with you being slow, but it's been like 13 years now.
I mean, yeah. At this point, there's some fan fiction out there. You
Yeah.
could
I'm not even sure he should finish it now because I think the show, even though a lot of people get upset at the ending, I'm pretty sure that was the ending that he intended. It was just kind of rushed. They did it a little fast. That last season was only a few episodes. I'm pretty sure that was it. And then he was like, crap. Now I got to come up with a new.
That's my conspiracy theory too. I feel like the show was like a test run and it didn't test well. And he was like, now what?
Yeah, he's like, ooh, well, try something else.
Yeah. A little bit.
I used to laugh. My buddy and I kind of, we trade books back and forth to this day. And Wheel of Time was always our
Mm.
favorite book series, and Game of Thrones was probably next. Song of Ice and Fire, but we were laughing because poor Robert Jordan dying, still outwriting George.
Still got it done.
He was still putting out like a book a year.
I know. And outlined the
Oh,
full
I
series,
know.
the completion. Like,
I mean, Brandon Sanderson did a terrific job, but you could not tell a difference in his writing and George's or in Roberts, and I'm sure it was because of the tons of notes and stuff that he had written out.
yeah, he definitely put in all the work for that.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
Yeah,
unbelievable.
so
So
much respect.
what was your first published book?
My first published book was Across the Universe. It's a young adult science fiction murder mystery in space.
That's the generation ship, right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love this one because that's like legit your universe.
Oh yeah.
You've written now what, 4 books and a lot of short stories? Is that
No,
close?
it's like it's closer to 20.
Really?
Yeah, there's a ton of them out there.
I kind of love that
Yeah, I'm very, very, very fortunate and very happy.
because I know you had the original trilogy, that story,
Mhm.
but now you're writing in the same universe.
Yes. So my next book, Full Speed to a Crash Landing, it technically takes place in the Across the Universe world. It's
Oh,
an
okay.
adult.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's an adult book. It's totally different characters, but in particular, the sequel, the characters go to a museum about the history of the galaxy, and you find out about the characters from my very first series in it.
Oh, I love that.
I really enjoyed doing that
That's
one.
very Stephen King of you,
Ah, yes.
kind of
I was
tying
thinking
the
more of
stuff
like the
together.
Easter eggs, like in Marvel and things like that. But yeah,
Yeah, I across the universe, why they haven't made that into like a young adult series,
yeah.
right?
I would love for it to be made into a film or a television show or anything. But
Well, you could make it into a series of movies, but for me, I think a series would be kind of
yeah, I think
awesome.
it'd be fun. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, I agree.
yeah,
Hollywood needs to.
yeah. I'm gonna work on them. And we don't want
Oh,
none of this 1 or 2 seasons. We need, legit 7 season so we can tell the whole story
exactly. Everything, every detail.
every day. And we don't want 6 episode seasons. Maybe 13. Maybe 13.
I mean, I would settle.
You'd settle for 13. Yeah, okay. I mean, I get it because you don't have any filler episodes, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
The quality is probably a little bit better, but none of us are happy with 6 and 8 episodes. Too fast.
Yeah. Yeah. We want to sink in on the binge
Most of us grew up, we were getting like 26
and watching every night.
and watch. Yeah, well, when you probably didn't have to go through this, but I remember the days where if you missed the episode, you're just out of luck. Or maybe you had to wait till the summer reruns. You
Yeah.
know, like nighttime TV was legit destination viewing.
Oh yeah.
You were at
TGIF.
in front of your TV 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever it was, because if you weren't, you just missed it.
Oh
And of
yeah.
course,
No,
it wasn't too
I
long
definitely
after that
remember that.
VCRs came out. That helped.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so tell me a little bit about Full Speed to a Crash Landing. I didn't realize it's the same universe. That makes it even better for me. But this one just came out, right?
Yeah, this one just came out in August. And it's a novella, so it's pretty short.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is, I call it Glass Onion meets Firefly. It's basically a heist in space.
See, I love that because the murder mysteries are the best, or just the mysteries in general
Yes.
with that. But yeah, what a description.
Yay.
And
It's a lot of fun.
all of us nerds love Firefly.
Oh, brown coats forever.
Right. Do you think though, if they had gotten 7 full seasons, would we look at that show the same?
So I read the scripts that everyone said that Whedon had produced planned to produce
Yeah.
in turn, and I did not like where some of those storylines went. So I
Yeah,
don't,
same. I was the same way.
especially Inara, her storyline and what they plan to do with her character. I don't like that as much.
Yeah.
So it did actually lessen the blow of the show being canceled. So there's that.
I've always said that it's it's the fact that we wanted more and didn't get it, and we loved
Although the
all
movie
the
was
characters.
great.
Oh, the movie's great.
Yeah.
Other than Alan Gut,
I mean,
come on.
I liked that. I was a fan of it. I mean, my favorite Star Wars is Rogue One. Of course, I'm a fan of that. Kill them all. I'm very brutal about that,
Well,
especially
are
with
you
them.
like that as an author though? Do you kill some of your main characters at times?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
I mean, Full Speed to a Crash Landing is a little bit more lighthearted and fun, but yeah, I'm pretty brutal.
I don't mind that. I
Yeah.
don't mind that. So do you have any like red wedding type of scenes? Something that catches everybody completely off guard?
I do have, so I have another series called, it starts with a book called Give the Dark My Love. And
Mhm.
it's about a girl who, and to be clear, I wrote this before COVID, but it's about a girl who, during a plague, when she realizes she can't save the sick, she starts to raise the dead. I mean, it's just like extra healthcare at that point. There is a pretty brutal scene where the hospital's on an island to quarantine everyone, where not everything goes well when you
Okay.
raise a bunch of dead people.
See, that sounds like a good series to me too.
I think it's yeah, you need the entire Beth Revis catalog.
I think so. I'm gonna go home. I'll be like, honey, I bought a catalog.
Got everything on the list. It's for work, it's a tax write-off.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So what is Full Speed about?
So Full Speed stars Ada Lamarr, who is she's on a ship that does like scavenging jobs, looting, not entirely on the up and up. And she's parked
Okay.
outside of a planet where there is a wrecked spaceship and she's looting it. And then her ship, of course, something goes wrong on her ship, and a government ship shows up at the same time. And the government ship wants something that's on the crashed planet, or the crashed ship on the planet. She also wants something. They start flirting, but she's also running a con, and all kinds of chaos ensues.
She's kind of sneaky.
Oh, yeah. That's the point.
Well, and I read that like she's keeping secrets, obviously, but
Mhm.
you're also keeping some secrets from the reader.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Ada lies to everyone, including you.
See, I kind of like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm
I
assuming
modeled
that
her
at
a
some
lot
point
after Saffron.
you find the truth out at some point, right?
Yeah, she'll tell you the truth after she wins.
Okay. So
I modeled her a lot after Saffron from Firefly and
okay.
all those kind of characters. Like, that's who she is.
Do any of your characters have like part of you in them?
They all have at least some element. But Ada, I wrote this well, it's a novella. I wrote this novella after being at Phoenix Fan Fusion. It's a Comic-Con convention
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing. And there was somebody there who, and it was not the convention. The convention's lovely, but there was a person there who was incredibly rude and basically implied that I couldn't write this type of a book. But I was there as a professional, and like I'm a woman, I'm a professional. I just had to sit there and be like, oh, okay, well, that's your opinion, and be very nice. So Ada says everything that I wanted to say that I couldn't say. So that's
Okay.
the piece of me that's in her is the voices that I really want to say and the words I actually really want to say.
Are you kind of hoping he reads it?
Oh, I so hope he reads it. I'm 1,000% certain he will not know the song is about him, but I do hope he eventually reads it. And it's kind of nice to have somebody's like insults turn into something that became a paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's I'm not sure what the how to title that, but that seems like you're winning.
Oh yeah. I mean, there is a reason why the book is dedicated to Spite. But I actually literally dedicated the book to Spite because of that.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Thanks. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So who's the detective in the story? Or is
Uh,
there
There is. His name is Ryan White, and I named him after Ryan Johnson and his character Benoit Blanc,
one?
Blanc meaning white. So
Oh,
he's Ryan White, and he sees everything, but he doesn't see what Ada's doing as well as he perhaps should.
that's right. That's right.
Yep.
We know every Hollywood loves a mystery, so maybe this is the one
Here's
that
hoping.
opens the door.
I've been hustling hard.
I mean, you're putting out so many books.
All right. I mean,
Now,
George, call me up.
is full speed? Is it going to continue, or are you planning to write other books in it?
It is going to continue. The next one's out December 9th, and it's called How to Steal a Galaxy. It's basically the Met Gala in space where she's trying to rob from it.
Oh,
Yes,
okay,
it's
that's a
Ocean's
that's a great
11 this
idea.
time. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And then the last one will be out in April or March. I need to check on that in the spring months. And it's called Last
You're
Sailor.
supposed to trilogy should be like a couple years apart,
No,
right?
we just went for months. They're short. They're short. I don't ever sleep. It's fine.
Yeah, see, you would have when I was growing up and really into reading, I'd have loved you as an author because that's the worst part of being
It's
a fan
waiting.
is reading a book like when it first comes out and you love it so much and it's going to be a couple years before the next one comes out. And especially when you're a kid, a couple years is forever.
Oh, I know. I know. Yep. I just finished the past pages for the last book literally 2 days ago. So it is right on track and it's going to come out. And no waiting times.
How do you do your artwork?
Oh, you mean like the cover?
Yeah.
Oh, my publisher does that. I don't have
Oh,
any
okay.
of
Okay.
that.
I didn't
Yeah.
know if you knew you like had an artist that you used or some authors they doodle some
Some
stuff
do.
themselves.
I have a lot of character art and I'll go to a few specific artists who I like working with a lot for that.
Mm. I interviewed a gentleman that he'd had a pretty successful movie 10 or 15 years ago that he wrote, and it did really well. And he'd been trying to get a sequel made since, never could get it made. And he finally got fed up with it. He bought him a bunch of equipment and just did an animated version on his own and just animated the whole thing. He got the original actors to voice it somehow, but he did and I watched it and I'm like, that's pretty good animation for somebody just working at home. But there you go. Maybe he could bring this stuff to life for us.
Maybe something like that.
It took him 10 years to do his, but if you're patient,
I'm pretty patient.
Sometime in the 2030s, this could happen.
That would be wild.
Because your books, I think, especially where some of them are more young adult, you could totally do them as an animated version.
Well, I firmly believe that animation belongs in it's not an age range, it's a genre. It's a medium. Like it's brilliant for many things.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm loving the I was always a big Dungeons and Dragons player growing up, and now we're getting animation around Dungeons and Dragons, and it's really good.
Oh yeah, and the graphic novels for Vox Machina, amazing.
Yeah. They just came out season 3.
I know, it's very exciting.
I know, I read that stuff and I'm like, maybe I could start playing again. I don't have time. There's no time. I live vicariously through my son who does the podcast with me, but him and his cousins and friends, they all still get together, once or twice a month and play. So I'm a little jealous of that. Miss those days.
I'm in the process of training my son up for it. He's 9 now, and he's
not. Oh yeah, that's a good age to start, though.
We're getting there. He's the pretty dice. They're gonna get them. We're gonna get this started.
I did that when my kids were early teenagers. I think I took them through Ravenloft and some of those, introduced them to it, and it stuck with my son. He's still playing. So
no, it's fun. Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I think we had it figured out back in the 80s and 90s. We didn't need cell phones and computers and all that stuff.
Yep, social media was a mistake.
Books and imagination.
Yeah, exactly.
And also as a teenager, much easier to get away with stuff when you didn't have a cell phone attached to you.
Very true. Very true. Even though I was the most vanilla teenager on earth.
Oh, me too.
I never did anything. Like, still sometimes I'm like, could have gotten away with that.
we legit, our little group was about 10 guys, and we were all we're all athletic, but we weren't the stars. So we were like the guys on the bench, the backup quarterback, that group. And every weekend, if we didn't have ball games, we were playing Dungeons and Dragons. Pretty tame. Like, our parents did not worry about us. They knew where we were. They might not see us for a couple of days, but they knew where we were.
You were fine. You were just fighting some trolls. It's fine.
But back then, any adult would parent you.
Yeah.
And nobody worried about it. Well, if you did something wrong, they've got permission to, do whatever they need to straighten you out. And I was like, okay. But you wouldn't do that today.
Yeah, not as much. Although still in the South.
Oh yeah, you're right. A little, especially like the little neighborhoods. That's different. We always had whoever's house you were at. Those parents were kind of in charge, but they didn't really do anything. They just let us run.
Yeah.
I know. I'd never do that with. Now it's my grandkids. The kids are grown, but it's funny. I look at them. I'm like, I would not just let them run around without knowing where they're.
Yeah, I'm a lot more protective.
Yeah, times have changed.
Yeah.
Maybe we just didn't have internet or anything, so we just didn't know.
That's true too.
Yeah. So after this one, you've got this trilogy you're working on. The next one comes out in December, the third one this spring. What else are you working on? What's coming up? Because I know you're not just working on one set of books.
No, I have 4 novels coming out this year from publishers. How
many have already been out? Like 2?
2 of them, yeah. Oh. And then I've got also on December 9th is the Star Wars picture book called Someone Who Loves You, which is the wedding of Han and Leia from the Ewoks' point of view.
Oh, I love that.
It's very cute. I can say that because I didn't do any of the pictures. The artist was brilliant, and it is super, super cute.
Is it like legit kids book?
Oh yeah, it's a picture book for children, yes.
Yeah, okay. No,
Although, like, I do think some adults might find it.
I was gonna say, I think this sounds like one I could get for the grandkids.
Oh, for sure. It's adorable.
My uh one of my grandsons, he's 3, and he
Mhm.
already loves the Star Wars animation stuff. The stuff young enough for him to watch. So I'm like,
Oh yeah.
aha, I've got one there.
Yes.
I will be encouraging that.
And even my 9-year-old son has inspected it and has promised it doesn't have too much kissing and love. So
Oh, well, there you go.
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, he's at that age. I remember that age. I was a proud member of the He-Man Woman Haters Club and
Oh yes, all
around
girls
that.
except Mama has cooties.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
yeah.
That's
Yes.
right. I remember that club. It was very short-lived. You know,
I want him to stay in that club for a little while longer. He can still be my little baby. It's
I
fine.
remember our membership just kept dwindling.
Yeah. Uh, um, yeah, but so next year I have a sequel to, or not a sequel, a continuation of some books that I have co-written with another author. It's a young
Oh,
adult fantasy, historical fantasy. It started off with Night of the Witch, and it's about the Trier witch trials in Germany, and if a real witch meets a hunter. And then we have something new coming in that vein next year, and then I'll have an adult fantasy out as well that hasn't been announced yet, so I can't talk too much about it.
okay. That just means you have to come back when you're ready to talk about that
Yeah,
one.
definitely.
I'm going to talk about that one. Is it difficult teaming up with someone else to write? I mean, you think in theory you think it make things easier, but if you're not in line with each other, it would seem like that would cause conflict.
Yeah, it's definitely a risk. Like, what if I end up Sarah is my co-author. I'm like, what if I
Yeah.
end up hating Sarah? Like, this would be terrible.
Right.
But we've worked really well for 2 novels, and we're gonna do some more, and it's literally half the work. So I really do enjoy that aspect of it.
It'd be fun to go on book tours if you had a buddy with you.
Oh yeah, we just came back from Victoria, and it was a lot of fun having somebody else there, and like I enjoyed a lot.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that part of it I think I would like, but you'd have to make sure you chose the right person.
Yes. And we were really lucky because we started writing during the pandemic. We never met each other until the first book was already out
Really? How did you get connected?
online. Yep.
Hmm. That's
We just
probably why
started.
I'm not writing now. Nobody's connected with me to team up together to write because I
I
can
did
throw
have
the
about a
ideas
dozen
out there.
done before.
I'll throw the ideas out. I just need somebody to write them down.
Might be a little bit more difficult than that.
No, I think that's writing.
That's true. I mean, honestly, D&D is writing. Like you're telling stories. So if you just had somebody transcribing a really good D&D session, you've got a book.
Well, they used to make books like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I've said that before. I was like, there's a few of those campaigns that I'd have read that book if somebody wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know?
They're good ones.
Yeah. Yeah, because it forces you to, it's really just giving you a setting,
Oh
and then the
yeah.
rest of it's your imagination.
Mm-hmm. And the dice help you with the choices and the chances, and I think it's great.
Did you play? Did you have the figures?
I do. I do. I only had a short group for a while because we broke up during the
Mhm.
pandemic. It just everybody moved apart and we had to all be separated after that. But I had my own little
Yeah.
figurine and my good dice and my dice in jail and everything.
Isn't that funny? Everybody's got their good dice. You can borrow those dice. These are my good ones. I
No,
I
you
don't loan
can't have the
them.
good ones. No.
But what's your pouch look like? You got to have a good pouch for the.
Oh, I can show you.
Oh
It's a
yeah,
really good couch there.
yeah. You got to have a good pouch.
So it's a dragon sitting on his
Oh,
sword, and then it opens up.
oh, that's nice.
It
Yeah.
has all the
Okay.
dice. So. And his wings are attached to the string. He's my little guy.
That's what I want. I want you to write a Dungeons and Dragons module.
Oh, I would love to. I actually, when my group broke up, one of the books I self-published is called Museum of Magic. I wrote it as if it was a D&D campaign. And so
Oh,
every choice the character makes, I rolled the dice for it. And to make sure I wasn't cheating, I did it on camera and then let my readers vote for the final decision
I need to
at the
read
end of the
that one.
chapter. It was fun.
I,
It was complicated.
it's kind of a choose your own adventure, but you're choosing ahead of time.
Oh yeah, yeah. And like letting the dice pick it. So I can never plan past a chapter because my readers voted where they went after that. And they voted wrong a couple times. I'm like, how could you, what do I do now? And I had to come up with a solution to however they voted because I thought it was pretty obvious. You don't trust the Fae. And then they vote to trust the Fae. And I had to write a whole sequel to make that work.
Did you make them pay?
I made myself pay. And I had to stay up forever and figure it out.
That's a great idea, though. What a great way to connect with fans.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I kind of like that. Maybe a YouTube channel where you're just reading stories to us.
I'm not as good as LeVar Burton.
Nobody is.
He's a master.
Do you do your own audiobooks?
No,
Yeah,
nobody wants me to do that. I got too much of a Southern accent that comes out the more tired I get.
you're telling me.
I know.
I always knew I had an accent, but didn't realize how thick it was until I started this podcast. And then I got a lot of, well, where are you from?
Yeah, I love the very subtle, like,
Yeah.
where are you from?
I'm like,
Sometimes
oh, you
followed
picked
by,
up
did
on
you go
this,
to
did you?
college?
But I will admit, if you go out to like LA, I
Mhm.
mean, obviously you hear some accents, but you've also got a lot of people that just don't seem to have an accent.
Yeah,
It's so
which is kind of a
strange.
shame. Accents are nice. I like them.
I think so too. I think so too. I guess the lack of an accent is kind of an accent.
Yeah.
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 Well, Beth, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. So the new book that's currently out is Full Speed to a Crash Landing. And what's the sequel that's coming out in December called?
How to Steal a Galaxy.
Oh, well, we all need to know that.
I mean, yeah.
So what's the end of the trilogy? What's that one called?
Last Chance to Save the World.
I'm sensing a theme.
A little bit of a theme, yeah.
Is our is our girl, is she, does she like evolve into kind of a anti-hero type by the end, or you know what I mean? Does she end up having to do something heroic at some point?
If sometimes the benefit of all of mankind also will specifically benefit her, perhaps
Okay. Okay.
perhaps she'll
So
throw the world a
so she
bone.
may be helping, but only because it's benefiting her.
She always has her own agenda.
Hmm. I think I may have dated this woman.
I'm so sorry. Oh.
Oh, that's terrific. Last thing, Beth, or a couple of things before I let you go. Is there anything else? And I think we've hit everything, but anything else that you're working on that you would like us to know about or to keep an eye out for?
I think that we covered all kinds of
That's a
books.
lot.
I got a lot of them coming out. So if you want to follow me on social media, I'm at Beth Revis on almost everything. And I have a newsletter to update. So if you ever have trouble finding me, I update a lot.
Yeah, it came right up when I put you in
Oh,
there.
good.
Came right up, and you look like you're fairly active on social media, so that's good because that's a job in and of itself.
It's a job. I don't treat it like a job and I just goof off and waste time and miss my deadlines with it. But
That's all right. That's what
yeah,
we all do. That stuff. Do you
yeah,
have a website?
I do at BethRevis.com.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. I remember now because I was on there looking. It's actually. Do you do it yourself? Because it's pretty well done.
Oh, thank you. I do it myself and I constantly worry about it being too cluttered.
Well, in websites, it's hard enough to set them up, but the really hard part is maintaining them.
Yes,
Yeah,
I can never
kudos.
keep update.
Yeah, kudos though. You're doing pretty well with it. Because yeah, you know how that goes. I try to get on there every day and just update something, just so something has changed, but it's hard.
It's hard. There's a lot of television to watch and a lot of books to read.
Well, we've already established I can't do 3 times speed. I'm a regular speed guy.
Yep.
So I got, it's just more time. If I can do it 3 times speed, maybe my website would be updated more often.
Maybe so.
Yeah. All right, Beth, hold on one second. I really enjoyed that. Author Beth Revis. The book is Full Speed to a Crash Landing, part of it's a novella, part of a trilogy. It's out now. The second book in the series comes out in December. The third book in this spring. So a lot. She's so prolific. I really really enjoyed that, and she put up with a lot of my nonsense. It's hard for me not to get excited talking with an author of sci-fi and fantasy. That's right up my alley. Her Star Wars books, excellent. I haven't read Rebel Rising. Sounds really good. But The Princess and the Scoundrel, which is the wedding of Han and Leia on Endor, outstanding. Kudos to Brett, because he's the one that brought that one to me to read, and I'm glad he did. We really enjoyed that. Let's support Beth. I have a feeling that as time goes on, we're going to see some of her work on the screen. So I look forward to that. So let's get in. I'd like to say early, but she's got like 20 books out there, so we're a little late. We got to get moving. Help Beth out. She is an outstanding writer. And she kept mentioning that Full Speed to a Crash Landing is kind of like Glass Onion meets Firefly. I like the. She'd also mentioned that it's River Song meets Sherlock, and I really liked that kind of analogy. Really, really good. Thank you guys for tuning in with us. If this is your first time with us, so happy that you're here. If I can get it out, I'm so excited I can hardly get it out. So happy that you're here and would love to have your support. It's easy to do. It's free. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us out. Our website is meistercon.com. You can find right now 854 episodes, audio and video versions. So please check us out there. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're going on location, covering a convention, anything we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody.